So that is new from Jada G, Scars from the new record. And I'm joined live in the studio by Gus Harvey.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah.
So nice to have you
it's
here.
It's lovely to be here. It's a new place.
Yeah. Because I was sort of like thinking about it today and I was like, I am day one crew.
You actually are literally day one, zero.
I'm like day one crew. Back in, and then I was looking at the dates and I was like, Jesus, it's actually been a long time ago.
Yeah. So it's like 6 years now since Witches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 years. 2017 that came out. And I played it on the radio and like nationally, didn't I, for the first time, which was so lovely.
I did a little Facebook post, was like, I don't know who you are, but I love you.
Yeah. And then we connected, as they say, we're connected. And I've just loved your music ever since. Everything you've put out, Gus, and you kindly let me use it for my Superwomen films.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
It's just so nice to have you back. And then we did do an interview, didn't we, in the pandemic?
Yeah.
When it was like one of the first, I think it was one of the first Soho Radio shows I did from home, like on the, like piecing it all together, like doing a Zoom chat and then piecing it all together and making a radio show from home.
We did like 2 or 3 hours or something, didn't we? And then we had to edit it heavily.
Yeah, I remember we talked for like well over an hour and then it was a beast to edit.
I'm sorry.
But it's all good. So how have you been? I mean, it's really nice to have you in the studio live here and to like talk all about new music. So yeah, how have things been?
So it's a long time to cover, isn't it? It was it was, the pandemic bit was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the last couple of years has been good, like healthy good. Things have been sort of a bit more settled, and I think I feel like I'm in a better place than I was before the pandemic now, especially with music as well. Like, don't know, just things are getting a bit mental. I think everything, that kind of stop period, although it was frightening, was actually quite beneficial.
Yeah, quite good to just hit sort of pause, hit reset.
Yeah, and like no
rethink.
industry really for a bit, or like it was there, but it wasn't really, not in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was quite a good sort of reflective time.
Time. Did it just kind of for you almost like take some pressure off and just
able
to come back to yourself
definitely,
almost?
totally.
Yeah.
And I noticed I'm like writing in a completely different way, like
Really?
writing from a much more kind of like closer to what I was writing when I started off, like a lot more kind of like just dreamy and romantic, and like not, I think the music industry kind of like hike was making me much more aggressive in my style of approach, and I noticed that just disappeared within about a year of not having that context.
Although I love kind of like grungy angry Gus as
well there is that.
There's a little bit of that, like in the on some of the older tracks, and I've bought loads. I've bought like a selection so we can just kind of play some new, play some old. But I do like it, like on Durga, for example, more of that kind of like gritty.
That is aggressive, that one. That's about as aggressive as it gets, isn't it? Yeah.
But then back with new music, Easy Part 2, like you say, is like,
it's soppy.
So
I think there's more kind of like maybe grunge or grime a little bit, and not grime. Like on the second single, it's like raunchy.
Oh,
it's like a raunchy version. Yeah, but I've got some kind of fast verses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're mixing it up.
Yeah.
So obviously, coming out of the pandemic, this is so you had the Albion EP before, which actually no, you put that out during
May, 2020. So it's a bit of a like judgment call, like whether to go with it or not. But it was a good moment. I think Aaron was a bit sad. Yeah. And it was a sad tune, so yeah, I'm glad we did it, and it was interesting to like watch that happen from my flat.
Yes. Yeah. And then when did you start writing stuff for the new EP then? So,
well, the vocal line on Easy, which I've reworked into, there's an Easy Part 2 as well, which is produced by a guy called Harry Edwards, who was on it's on the Beyonce record, like produced Heated. So we've got various versions of that top line, and that is a really old piece. But apart from that, like Netflix, the second single, that was kind of fully made during the pandemic periods. But just, there's a lot of vocal layering on it. And so it's so amazing to have had basically 3 years to keep layering vocals, like keep coming up with harmonies, like keep going back to it. But yeah, and then I don't know, what about Dream? Yeah, Dream's older again, like not as old as Easy, but yeah, just like keep working the production basically. We just for the longest time. Like I was putting out EPs sort of at least once a year before, and then 3 years into 4 tunes is a lot of detail.
Was there any point where you guys had to just go, okay, no, leave that one's baked, that's cooked, like we're good
completely,
and not just because otherwise you could have gone on forever.
It could have gone on forever. I think so. No, and then I think we'd finished it, and then the last sort of year or so, year and a half, has been working on visuals, and then I've got I'm doing new music now that I'm excited about, but it seems like it's going more along that kind of like soul chill vein now. Like it's interesting, but then it was the visual kind of aspect of it that I've been fiddling about with, I think, as well, chronically for this whole time.
But then also on Easy Part 1, there's a real like lush electronic production going on in there as well. It's like instantly I listened to it and I was like, oh, this is so good. This is right up my street.
It's a bit faster than I think. I think it's the fastest thing I put out. I think. Yeah. It's like,
I wouldn't even hazard a guess at what BPM is.
It's one less than it should be for drum and bass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because everyone was going, my partner was going, it's drum and bass, because you come in the drum and bass world now. And I'm like, no, babe, sorry. Like, not quite.
But someone could do a really tidy drum and bass remix.
They could.
Of this.
Somebody could. Yeah.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
And then obviously just like you say, like really dreamy. Some of it's all kind of been, just about like love songs.
Yeah, it's like emotion. Because I'm doing my like element theme thing, and this is water. So this is like soppy, dreamy, creative. Like there's a lot of kind of all the metaphors and stuff that I've used have been. It's like drawing comparisons between making beats and making tunes and making love. Do you know what I mean? So it's that. It's all. That's the whole theme of it. And I think that worked really well with the time because everybody was sort of separated from each other. And it's just, what are we connected by when we're not physically together as well? Like where our imaginations meet with each other and like that whole subconscious world. So that's what I've been trying to put across. Hopefully that's apparent by the end of it when the EP's out. What, so each track is, one is fire, one is earth, one is water. There's one each within each EP, and there's one EP within. So the first one, so that there's like with earth, Albion was air. The scary Berlin one where I was mental was fire, obviously. Oh, I love that. Have I not told you that before?
No.
That's a secret.
Which now we're telling the world.
Sorry.
That is amazing. I love that. Oh, I will listen with like fresh ears.
See if you can work out which one is which.
Yeah. And do you do that with every EP? You just give yourself
I'm really OCD.
I love that. I think you should, keep going with that. That sounds
well,
so
no,
cool.
I've finished now. There's no more elements. I have to make like spirit or something. I don't know.
What happens when you do an album?
Gold.
Yeah.
Gus Harvey gold.
Just go through the periodic table.
Yeah, I'll just keep, thingy in rhenium and
all right, we need to hear Easy Part 1 so people can have a bit of a listen about what we're talking about. This is from the new Gus Harvey EP. It's the first taster. It's out in the world just in the last, week or so?
Yeah, a Friday that happened.
Yeah, very recently.
Last week, something.
And I think you're going to love it. So this is what it sounds like. So there's the sound of Easy Part 1 from Gus Harvey's new EP. And I've got Gus live in the studio today as my guest on this month's show. And it's just lovely to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it just sounds so good. It just sounds so good.
Bless you.
Honestly, I've been really excited to hear new stuff because it kind of like, I guess in the pandemic, like, I don't know, just post-pandemic, lots of people are starting to come back with new music.
Seeing like who's survived, who's given up,
who's still doing
who's had an enriching time. I think I was just listening to the Little Sims record on the way here, and I'm like, she was in the flat by herself as well. And I'm like, I was waiting for her to put loads of amazing music out. I'm not supposed to swear, am I?
Yeah, you can swear.
Okay, I was going to say shitloads of amazing music out, and then it's like she didn't disappoint. I knew she was going to like have loads of stuff. Yeah.
That record is phenomenal, isn't it? Yeah. And we're like really pleased to see just how much it's connected on like a huge kind of global platform, global scale. She's amazing. And lots of kind of artists come back, and it's just nice now. We're at this, I don't know, feel like there's enough distance now from it that it's like, I just feel like new music, I feel quite enriched by it again. you know?
I think so.
It's good. It's good. And you said it changed your writing process. How, because I guess it's just you and your laptop and doing this, you know, and then obviously you bring other musicians in.
I think it's like about what I was feeling and what I wanted to put out. Like, it's just purely that. I'm only ever going to write that. And I wasn't feeling competitive because there's no one around me. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't feeling like angry about stuff. Weirdly, actually, there's quite a lot to be angry about, I suppose. But I wasn't. I made myself like a little bubble. And I feel like we've got such a responsibility to like channel and put out good things in a world like this. And so I was just like, we've just got to propagate love, you know? Like, that's what I want to do. Yeah. And I also was like, obviously not thinking, I did have a long time in my head where I was thinking maybe we'll never be able to perform live again, you know, when everyone was performing in like hamster wheels and stuff, like, so I was like, okay, maybe I just need to make music that people can play in their houses and chill to.
Wait, hang on a minute. I just laughed at that and I'm like, what hamster wheels?
Didn't Erykah Badu do a show where everyone was in like plastic little big bubbles, big bubbles? You know what I mean?
Like those like Zorbs.
That's totally what I meant. Yeah, hamster wheels. I see why you didn't get that straight away.
I was like, yeah. And then I was like, hang on a minute. What do you mean hamster wheels?
What was going on for you?
I know what you mean. Like there was a lot of like
Zorbs
people
shows.
live streaming and stuff.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have to do live stream shows from our houses forever. Yeah,
that was it. Like that was it.
It's got quite a futuristic. I've seen too much sci-fi stuff. Yeah,
it did feel like that for a hot minute, didn't it? It's like, when is this going to end? But you know, now we're fully back. Like festivals are back. Yeah, live music's back. Live stuff is just, you know, and I feel like that will be the next stage, I guess, of this project. So are you thinking about getting out live?
Yeah,
and how does that look?
Basically, I definitely want my next kind of couple of shows, like, because I haven't performed Albion yet at all, which is crazy. But I want them to be in venues with engineers, sort of thing. So I'm going to try and book kind of traditional shows where people buy a ticket and come like for the sort of first things. And yeah, like as much as I loved my little 404, it was just a little bit of a liability. So I'm really keen to go back to like playing with players and having a band, basically, rather than me pressing my buttons. Because that's it's part of this same thing of just kind of full circle back to how things were when I started, which was like just fronting a thing. Like my band never want me to play anything because it's better if you're connecting with people. That's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah. I think that overall makes things nicer for people. Yeah. As much as I might nerd out about my little bits of kit and stuff, like.
Yeah, but if they can just be like, look, we got this covered. Yeah. And then you can just be the star.
Well, it's just, and the chat,
joking,
do you know what I mean? Yeah,
know,
I don't want to be the star.
But, you know, it gives you less like one woman band kind of.
You can get into it, yeah. You can get into the sort of like actual music, I think. Yeah. I don't know. At least that's basically, that's what I think it's going to be like.
But you met, didn't you, the person who did violins on Easy Part 1? You met him at a festival we do. Yeah. We've both been to, I DJ there pretty much every year now. Meadows in the Mountains, which is on top of a mountain in Bulgaria. Yeah. It's beautiful. And yeah, I actually think that was the last time I saw you. Was probably
then. At Meadows.
It might have been.
God, yeah. No, well, so Kayo, that guy, I mean, he's just one of the sort of beautiful mythical creatures that emerges from the mist, you know, Meadows, like incredible. I actually met him, this is going to sound like the most hippie woo-woo thing ever, but I actually met him in a sound bath. Like, I was meditating, I was like unconscious, and I heard his violins before I saw him. Yeah. So then I had a really weird time in this thing because it was like regression therapy, like not a thing you should probably be doing at a festival. It was like your childhood. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. And so, like real deep.
I just went in this thing of like, I'm hearing this violin and it's like saving me. He's come to save me, this violin. And when I finished, I'd had a weird time, and he just came straight over and gave me a hug because he'd seen that I was like having a weird time. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you actually were trying to save me with your violin. Like I wasn't imagining it. So we'd kind of connected. This is why that had to be in this EP, because it's like we connected in the weird space. Yeah. And then like we exchanged things because he's like obviously a phenomenal violinist. He used to play for the Brazilian Philharmonic Orchestra.
Wow.
So he's like real deal.
Yeah.
And then he's Berlin based now. So when we did the video for the Don in Berlin, he came to my place, and like he's in that. I don't know if you've seen that video, but it's kind of like a sort of very smoky orgy sort of situation, like with lots of naked people in the background, kind of lots of my friends basically that had roped in and like cooked a chili and was like, right guys, okay, dinner's on, but you have to get your clothes off.
Let's get sexy.
And Kaio was like, yeah. So he's like makes a little cameo there, and then this is his like big moment when he like, but yeah, those violins I've been fiddling about with because he sent me loads, like loads of tracks, and
wow.
I've sort of. It was tempting to just put them all in together.
On everything, but I mean, it sounds...
It's just that minimal one when it just comes in, the one note. And I was like, no, you just want to have that like focus moment. But yeah. He's like a little spirit animal.
I love that. No, through the mist.
Completely.
It does get a bit misty.
It does.
When all the clouds pack down into the valley, like the sun comes out. It is honestly like, it's so beautiful. You can't.
Big up Meadows.
Big up Meadows. I'm looking forward to
going
going
back. That was my first show. They gave me my first show. I know I've probably said this to you before, but like that kind of owe them quite a lot.
Yeah. So let's play another tune. Should we go gritty? Should we play Durga?
Oh, you're gonna? Okay.
Should we do it?
Yeah, do it.
We're going to play another tune. This is from, which EP was this from?
First one.
The first ever.
Yeah.
But after Witches. Witches was just a single, right?
Yeah.
And then
this
EP.
is my first self-released EP.
Yeah. What can you remember of this one? Like,
this tune?
Yeah, does it bring back
It's
any
like
memories?
my sort of like, I'm gonna self-release my music. Like it's like all the fire. That's the fire tune from the Earth EP.
Okay.
Just to start you off on your quest.
Let's hear it. Gus Harvey and Durga. Durga by Gus Harvey. Just get a little bit more of that horn in there.
That's the final one.
That is the fire. That is the Gus Harvey fire that we were alluding to right there. I love that tune. I always love that tune. But yeah, it's
a
so
good
good
workout
to hear it
one.
again.
I hear like, do you know what I mean? No, she says someone any exercise.
Would be some like very like heavy squatting.
Yeah, exactly.
Weights.
I think that's the position, isn't? I don't know. Maybe there's a position. Durga is like a Hindu goddess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
likened to heavy squatting in the gym.
Exactly.
If it was a gym move.
Oh dear.
So yeah, Durga, that was and there's loads of great tracks. Like there's now like just loads on your Spotify to go and peruse, or Apple other streaming services if people are new to you and haven't heard of you before. You're based in Norfolk.
Yeah. So I went back to Norfolk right at the beginning. Well, actually, before that, to do the Glastonbury stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was still there, kind of finishing that off really when the pandemic happened. And yeah, it was a bit scary at first, but then actually it's been really good. Like I was so happy to be. I went out of the city because I was in Norwich for a bit. I had a little flat there, and then went out of the city to be in the countryside for the sort of 2021, 22, and it was just like so much nicer to weather it out sort of thing. So I'm going to stay.
And is there like a nice little, what's the sort of local scene like?
Norwich has got a little
scene
to it, fully. Like, it's a great, I think she's actually moved here now. A great artist called Maya Law that I spotted like when I first went there. She's like a sort of singer-songwriter, and like she's produced by her girlfriend Freya Roy, who's like another really great musician. And then there's a couple of people in King's Lynn, which is like, it's a bit of a kind of pirate town, King's Lynn. It's like people in Norfolk don't think very highly of it, but I'm cool with it. But there's like a couple of like little hip hop acts. There's a girl that's signed to Polydor called Led by Her. She's only like I don't know, she's maybe like 17 or something. She's tiny weeny, but I'm like, she's got potential. She's producing herself.
Oh, amazing.
And then this like gnarly little hip hop thing called Sleep's Cousin. Guy performs in Crocs.
Okay.
And like those. So there's a little kind of weird, and they're very sort of like unself-conscious. Like, do you know what I mean? Very, very confident in their style, I think, which is interesting.
Well, listen, we need to wrap it up in a minute, but I've asked you to bring in like an inspiration track, and I just said, pick anything. If it's on vinyl, cool, whatever. And you've actually brought in the vinyl. Yeah. So tell me about, it's a tune from Hiatus Kaiyote.
Yeah, so I mean, Hiatus Kaiyote and influence like from the off is kind of the reason why we put our band together, because we sort of like saw them when that first like I think first single was like Mobius Strip, and and we sort of looked at and we're like, oh, you can really like just put anything together. Do you know what I mean? Keys, whatever kind of percussion, and like, and so that's how we sort of started our bands. But I think when like Red Room came out, which was the first single from their third album, they'd had a huge gap. That was like, I was pretty traumatized in the pandemic about music and stuff. I didn't listen to a lot of music, which is surprising. I was making stuff, but I didn't want to listen to it. I was like, not in a good, I don't know, the whole thing, like the government attitude to it and just all of it, it just made me feel a bit rubbish. And the first thing that came out that I found I could listen to was this tune. And it was like, it's all this about like the interior and being safe in your room. And it seemed like such a response to where everybody was at, that I was just, that was kind of where my head was at about, we really need to be thinking about what we're putting out. You know, we need to be responding to what people need, because that's the job. Like, we're not, you know, it's not about me and my competition with the music industry or like anything like that, really. It's about the audience and like, what are the people that are listening to this needs? And that's what I felt. And then, yeah, that was actually also my first, because I took ages to be able to go to live music again as well, just family stuff that was going on. And yeah, so their show at Brixton Academy was like my first show that I saw end of last year. So it was a long time without seeing anything as well. So she's just my little shaman who kind of eased me back in, gently. It's a beautiful song.
It's a beautiful, I played this, I definitely picked that when the album came out off the record to play. And I mean, they're just phenomenal band.
Special band,
yeah. They're really, really special. So we're going to finish on Red Room by Hiatus Kaiyote, as picked by Gus Harvey. But thank you so much for coming in. It's been so nice. When is the EP landing? When's the
I think it's in June.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a bit confused about what month it is, because I was telling everyone, I think the next single's also in June. So I don't really know. Like, there's one at the beginning of June.
Yeah.
Netflix. And then there's the EP, a period of time after that. A reasonable period of time after that. Yeah. Like,
well, listen, everyone just go to Gus Harvey, to your socials, and
I'll
stay tuned.
keep it posted. Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah, exactly. And also look out for the new video.
Yeah.
Incoming.
Yeah,
Nettie,
that's the Nettie
Nettie
one. Yeah, and that was us like meeting up in Spain in the middle of the pandemic, hadn't seen each other for ages, and like shot on her phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, yeah. It's like she's got mad skills. Nettie Hurley as well, like visual. She does a lot of your visual stuff. Yeah. Gus, thank you so much for coming in. It's been lovely seeing you. And let's finish with your chosen track. Good way to finish from me. Good chosen track from Hiatus Kaiyote. This is Red Room. Thanks, Gus.
No worries.